Welcome to our podcast, Creative Full Time, where I interview people in the entertainment industry here in Canada and see how they're doing the damn thing up here in the north. So today's guest is a woman who definitely has her eggs in many different baskets. She does voiceover, motion cap, she produces, she writes, she acts on stage, film, and television. There's very few things this woman can't do. You may recognize her voice in commercials for Toyota, Pepsi, Amazon, and more. A fellow dog mom and a talented Wonder Woman. Today we're talking to the one and only Esther Raday. We're talking to Esther Raday. I was like, Raday, and I was like, I forgot to ask.
Raday, like Esther Raday keeps the doctor away.
Oh, cute. And that's why you need her on all your sets.
Exactly.
Per
healthy sets.
Yeah, healthy, non-stressful sets. If that's a thing.
No comment.
So for you, when was the dream of acting born?
Actually kind of the joke is it's sort of when I was born. Nice. Because when I was a newborn, I was born in Budapest. In Hungary, and it's Budapest with a not Budapest. It's just a little just annoys me when people say Budapest.
Yes,
like,
please teach the North Americans.
Yes. So I was born in Budapest, and back in the 80s, we shall not go more specific than that. They were filming something in the hospital, and they came. They were like looking for a cute baby. And I mean, I don't know too much about childbirth, but I hear that when you do it naturally, kids come out with cone heads.
Yes.
But I was born by C-section because I just wouldn't come out. I was too busy doing my hair, which I had a lot of. And so I came out with a really nice, round, dark head of hair. I was a very cute newborn. And they kept asking my mom to use me in the movie.
No way.
Yeah, they're just like, my mom was like recovering. She's like, no, go away. Like, I'm not doing this.
No kidding.
They're like, we need you to like, hold her and like breastfeed her and we'll superimpose the actress's head on yours.
No way.
Yeah, and my mom was just like, forget it. Like, I am no. I'm so tired. I just had like such a grueling birth process.
Yeah, like how about you leave me alone?
Yeah, like let me recover and like recoup some blood. But my mom's friend also coincidentally gave birth at the same time.
Way.
They were lost when she's like, oh my god, like they keep asking you, and all these other moms were like, take my ugly baby. Sorry, that's rude. But
no, but we know.
Yeah.
We know.
And they were like, no, we really want this one. And my mom's friend convinced her. He's like, look, everyone else wants it so badly. Like, just say yes. It'll be a good memory. So my mom finally agreed. You can see her tatas in the movie, apparently. Not that I've ever found it. I have no idea.
So your debut role.
My debut role. I was like literally a few days old. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that's, I guess, like maybe in a weird way when it may have started, because I don't remember a time when I didn't want to do it. So even like as a, young little Hungarian girl living on the other side of the wall, I'm really aging myself. I just wanted to do it. I just wanted to act. I used to like look at things on TV and say to my mom, like, oh, like I'm gonna be an actress. I'm gonna be an actress. And my mom's like, you already are a little actress. I'm like, no, I don't have a script yet. So how can I be an actress without a script?
I need a script.
Yeah, I need a script. All actors have scripts. So yeah, that's kind of when it started, and it just never left me.
Oh,
for better or worse.
That's so cute. That's adorable. That is a good story. So if she doesn't use it, at least you did.
Yeah, exactly. I use it all the time.
I love it. So then going to or finishing high school, did you go into acting or go to school for acting after high school, or what was the plan?
Yeah, I did. I went to theater school straight out of high school. My mom said I was allowed to study whatever I wanted.
Nice.
But I had to go to university right off the bat because, that Eastern European anxiety about not being educated, I guess. So I did go right away. I went to York University. I did their theater program there, and it was awesome. I loved it. I actually did, more specifically, the creative ensemble program, which was interesting because instead of just being pure acting, pure just be a tree. What does a rock feel like? Really take, no, it was like, you would create your own pieces. You would work with, there was about 22 of us maybe in the class. You would work together to write, like conceptualize, write, self-produce your theater. And so it was really interesting because we had a lot of creative freedom, and that's what got me interested in more than just acting. And it kind of like set me up to not be in this like one-track mind about it. And loved my classmates, so talented, so many smart, interesting people. You know, it was like also forcing me to level up, I guess, because like it's intimidating. You're like, oh my god, everyone's so talented. Like, I gotta do better.
Sure.
But I went to York for my undergrad, and then several years later, I found myself living in London, England, and I did a master's there in musical theater.
Oh, amazing!
Which was something I always loved, but was kind of like scared to do.
Nice. What brought you to London? A boy?
Well, indirectly.
Indirectly. Was it work originally?
No, it was, I was in I was 24, about to turn 25. I had another, like, relationship not work out. I was working in the Toronto Centre for the Arts when Jersey Boys was performing, and they had just downsized their staff because I think the show was about to wrap up. So I found myself like single, out of a job, still like living back at home, just feeling like, okay, why am I here? Why Toronto? And I had dated a British guy previously who I was sort of like, maybe I should go over there.
Maybe
like,
see if there's more.
Yeah, like European men, why not? Screw Canadian guys. So I kind of just thought, because of being Hungarian, I had my EU passport. And so I thought of like, where can I go where they're not going to kick me out? Okay, so Europe, obviously.
Yeah.
Most countries there. And where can I go where I don't have to learn a language, because I just did not feel like doing that at the time. So I'm like, well, I guess it's only England. Yeah, so London, obviously, you know, such a big theater and acting scene. I'd spent some time there before, and it just felt like the right thing to do. So I just impulsively bought a flight one morning while having coffee and having an existential crisis, as one does.
Those are the best stories. And that's how great things happen.
Yep.
Did you have to audition to get into the musical theater school there, or just like send in an application?
No, I had to audition. I actually auditioned twice. The first time I almost made it, but they are like, you know, like you just need a little more confidence, whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I took singing lessons that year, and then I tried again, and then they're like, okay, fine, we'll let you in. Close enough. You seem to be really motivated. Yeah, we'll figure it out. I did have to audition though, and oh my god, like, it's so nerve-wracking though. I still can't.
No kidding. Because I mean, in my head, like English talent is just like far superior.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're like,
they don't fuck around over there. Like they're really good.
But yes, they are, and more so than just being really good, they're so confident. And I was like terrified of. I wanted to sing so badly, but I was so scared to do it. And when you like, you know, all these other people are going up and auditioning, and you hear them, and you're like, oh god, like should I? Like this is just embarrassing.
Should I just like walk out now?
Just walk out, save myself the embarrassment. But they were actually, you know what though, no matter how talented and like confident they were, I have to say my classmates. I went to Central School of Speech and Drama. They were amazing. They were so supportive.
Oh,
like,
that's so nice.
Yeah, like they were like, we were each other's biggest cheerleaders, and I think that's really wonderful because you have this idea of theater school being cutthroat. And
elbows up, and we're all going to fight for a role, very catty and cliquey.
And I mean, there were, you know, like people wanting roles and being upset if they didn't get it, and you know, like it happened, but
nothing like a Disney movie.
No one had like their like, you know, knees bashed in or something. You know, tiny heart.
No, I'm Tanya here.
But yeah, it was really nice to see just how supportive the students were, you know, and how much we just really like loved each other and wanted each other to succeed.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, we still like follow each other on like, you know, social media and whatever. So when I was like I took a break for like a decade from musical theater after that because, truth be told, program kind of traumatized me by then. Not because of the students, though, but other reasons. But yeah, so many of my former classmates were like, you know, when I said like, oh, I'm getting back to musical theater, I got cast in something, they were just like, oh my God, I love this for you. I'm so excited you're doing it.
Yay, so exciting.
Yeah, it's nice.
That's awesome. So what was the audition process like for that school? Like, did you have to do like monologue singing and a dance, or what was it like?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, there was definitely singing. I remember singing Out Here on My Own from Fame, and I think we had some sort of movement piece. They were a little less fussed about like jazz hands level of dancing there. They were more into like, you know, finding people that were singers and actors first, and dancers more just like, are you competent enough to learn a bit of it? Yeah. Which was great because I have a terrible time with my left and right. So I'm not a dancer first. Maybe not even last. Maybe not even last. I'm trying. But yeah, there was definitely more monologue and song component. I think that was like
okay.
Yeah. So very, very good to have a decent repertoire of songs to pull from at all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to build back up, but yeah.
As one does.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to come back to Toronto?
It was not a direct path back. First, I went to LA for about half a year.
Okay.
And I was there with my British ex. Not ex at the time, but yeah. But I was able to stay. I had visa stuff sorted. He did not, and he was finding a lot of roadblocks. And after 6 months of trying to make it work, we were like, it's gonna be really hard. So ultimately, I'm like, okay, well, can we go to Toronto? Like, we didn't want to go back to London. It was just, we're kind of tired of that life. Yeah. It's very expensive there. It definitely was back then, and we were just wanting more for ourselves. Right. You know, we were starting to approach 30, and I'm like, okay, this is I'm tired of living hand to mouth. And being down to a couple of pounds in my bank account every month. So that's why we thought, okay, let's try LA first, and then me for acting, and he was doing golf and getting into web development at the time, and then unfortunately, because of visa reasons, it led us back to Toronto ultimately, because as a citizen here, it was easier for me to sponsor him. Right. So that's kind of what it wasn't even the long-term plan though. We were going to just come back here and see if we can still figure out the States, but then we ended up settling eventually, and you put roots down. Yeah. I guess we need a job just for the year or two that we plan to stay here, and then you end up enjoying it. And then suddenly you're like, oh wait, we have a nice place here now, and friends and family. Why leave? Yeah. So I guess I'm stuck.
I guess I'm stuck.
Damn it, Toronto! You've done it.
Got me again.
Got me back here again. Can't leave.
How did you find the visa process to work in the States? Was it complicated or?
So my process was very unusual.
Oh yeah? Do tell.
When I was a kid and we immigrated first to Canada, and we didn't have our Canadian citizenship or anything yet, my mom also applied for the diversity visa for the States. Oh, okay. And she was granted the diversity visa. Oh. And as her dependent, I was given a green card after her. But we didn't end up moving there, and eventually, it was considered forfeited. And then while I was at Central and doing a musical theater program, my mom and aunt kind of wanted to look back into, can we get those back? Is there a way around this? Mm-hmm. And I don't know what the logic was. My mom's wasn't able to be reapproved. But then we got a letter in the mail saying, hey, Esther, come get your biometrics for your green card.
Oh, no way.
And I was like,
well, okay then.
Excuse me? So I'm like, okay. I hopped on a plane from London, flew over to New Jersey, went to do my biometrics. That's where my aunt was living at the time. And that's where they sent me to go do it. And then a green card showed up. I'm like, I don't know if this was a mistake on their part. I don't know if they meant to do this, but hey, look, I have one.
But they welcome me with open arms now. And it's too late for them to take it back.
Yeah. So unfortunately, though, because I haven't actually settled there in the end, I now no longer have one yet again.
Yeah.
Womp womp. There's very serious
but now
rules
Toronto's
around
grasp it has you now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's like artist visas that you can get once you're established enough. It's quite a process, and I don't know what the parameters are for what kind of work you're allowed to do beyond the arts, and I think that's usually the problem is, yeah, you can go be an actor, but if you need to make money to keep a roof over your head, because acting can be so inconsistent, that can be the problem with that. So I'm not 100% clear on what the sort of process would be today for people, but I do know quite a few people that have been getting those visas and being able to work in the States. Yeah. And it's so weird now too, because everything is so much more remote, and I feel like these lines in the sand are getting more and more blurred. I don't know, like currently for voiceover, I mean, I have clients that have hired me from other countries without necessarily needing to be able to work there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's like clients in the UK, for example, like I don't like they Brexit it, so like Hungary does me no more favors there.
Right? I know, and I know for voiceover, you can have like in the States, you can have a different agent like for each state.
Yes, and here too, I think like if I had an agent in like Vancouver or Montreal, I think that would be allowed, and it's definitely on my to-do list. I just haven't gone around to it. I mean, I guess it's a good thing to be like, oh, I'm so busy, I haven't gone around to getting.
That's fair. No complaints there. So voiceover, how did you get started into voiceover? Did you find it or did it find you?
So when I was in high school, I'm a big video game fan. And as you know, Final Fantasy is my favorite series, and they had no voiceover back at that point. And I remember like just, would play these like 40, 50-hour games and reading all this dialogue. And I thought like, oh, these characters are so cool. So I just sort of took like a little dinky recording app on my laptop and recorded their lines for fun. Aww. And like cut it together just for my own amusement between different characters. And like listening to it going, is it just me or is this actually kind of okay? like this sounds kind of cool. Maybe like voiceover should be something I should look into as a, wannabe actor. And then a couple of years later, I got my first foreign boyfriend. I started more than one. And he was French. And he worked in a recording studio here in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
And I said to him, like, well, I really want to make a voice demo for voice acting, see if I can do that. And he's like, oh, well, no problem. Like, you can come into the studio when it's not booked. So, and, if you just bring what you want to record, I'll record it for you. We can, mix it with some tracks and I can try to make a demo. And I'm like,
nice.
Yay. So we're dating a sound engineer.
I was going to say, well, that one pulled through. Time period.
So we made a demo. It was at Wellesley Sound Studios, which I don't know if it exists anymore. It was down on Ontario Street here, and we had to go in overnight because they were just so booked up during the day. And we recorded a demo. I wrote all of the copy for it. I chose the music, which was funny because that also made me think like, hey, maybe I'm also good at writing. Like maybe I can make that as like, instead of having to be like a server, I could, freelance write to like pay the rent when I, wait for voice gigs to come through.
Absolutely. Wicked. So how did you I know you do freelance writing. How did you start doing that? Did you work for a company or?
So when I was in England, I wanted to get it was this period that I got really interested in fashion for like a few years, which definitely not deep diving into that anymore the way I did back then, but it was like Devil Wears Prada time, so you're like, ooh. So I did some internships at magazines there and kind of ended up meeting people, networked, asked people like, can I write for your magazine for free?
Nice.
I had to do a lot of free internships and free writing to build up a portfolio, and it eventually led to jobs. And I actually took a little pseudo break from acting eventually. After I came back from LA to Toronto, I just sort of was burnt out from everything and just wanted to feel like a real adult. So I went and got like a job on a magazine, like a real job.
Right.
With a salary. I don't know why I'm using air quotes or
Steady
salary.
pay.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I was there for 6 years. So yeah, it was fairly steady.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of took like a mini break during that time from acting and then sort of established this other career for myself. But of course, you can't get away from acting once it has you in its grip. It's just like, so after a few years of that, I started to like make my own projects, and that kind of reignited the fire for acting. But yeah, it's funny now that I think about it. I'm like, everything kind of led from one thing to another.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's all so connected. Like, I probably wouldn't have thought about writing if I didn't have to write my own content for my voice demo. Like, if I had just gone to someone to make it for me or something, paid them.
If you didn't play video games.
If I didn't play video games, I would have never tried
playing video games is good for you.
Yeah. And I still play. And my sort of my dream for voiceover is to voice a lead Final Fantasy character. If anyone is listening, please.
They're listening.
Please.
And she's right here.
Yeah, that would be like the ultimate.
That's wicked. Yeah, that would be wicked. I'd play. I would play just to be like, I know her.
I feel like it would potentially ruin my playing experience though if I was like, oh,
I know this is me.
oh my god, I can't. No suspension of disbelief here.
That's true. It's like not meeting your heroes.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Don't be your hero as well.
Yeah.
Is that a rule? I don't know.
It should be. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll find out after she's the lead in Final Fantasy.
That's a good question though. I mean, like if you're a big fan of something, like let's say, if like Jennifer Lawrence had been like a huge Hunger Games fangirl and then she's playing Katniss, would that have like ruined it for her?
I don't know. Well, ask Henry Cavill how it ruined.
Yes, that's a really good one. Yeah. Do you still like The Witcher?
Yeah. I'm like,
Can you?
Not
would
the
you
way
play
they
the
do
next
it.
one? Yeah. He was so hot on that shit. I mean, what?
I mean, who? Oh my God. Getting hot. It's on here now.
Bring up Henry Cavill and the clothes just come off.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, now I need to. I feel better.
I love that he was a nerd though when he was young.
Yeah, I love that too. I didn't even realize that he was. I love. Oh shit! What's that movie? Count of Monte Cristo. And I didn't even realize that was young him. And I was like, what? After like watching it back after like many years, I was like,
I just rewatched that like a year ago maybe.
Yeah, such a good movie. I love it. I love it.
It's very good.
Anyway, back to you.
Well, we're here to talk about hot Hollywood men anyway.
Right?
Or women. Whatever.
All of them.
All the above.
So what made you want to take a break from acting? Was it a conscious decision or did it just naturally happen?
I think it was more of a natural thing. I will say I still did voiceover. I never stopped that because it's lower lift. You know, like you don't have to look right. You know, you just stand in front of your mic and read the script and send it in. So like, I think I was just a little burnt out from like, okay, you always have to like do yourself up and set everything up and audition and edit it and whatever.
They have to like what I do and how I look. Whereas like voiceover, if you do a good job, you've done a good job.
And most castings at the time were still in person even for the first round. So it was also a lot of running around the city for these auditions that you go in and it's like 5 minutes and then you're out the door and then you're like, wait, did I do that wrong? Did I do that right? I don't know. And it was just a lot. And I wasn't like enjoying that part of the process anymore. After a while, you know, it just felt like I was in my head. Yeah. But voiceover, you know, you're at home, you press record. Most of the time it wasn't in-person auditions for that. Or not for, very rarely. And so I just sort of needed to do something else. I think, you know, acting it's like amazing and I love it, but the audition process.
It can be draining when it's just like so much work and then no tangible payback. Like it may be like you click in their mind for a future project down the road, but you don't know until like down the road. Totally. And so it is just a lot of shooting in the dark, and you're like, is any of this sticking? So it is pretty exhausting.
And you know, it's great when it comes together, but there's just it's dependent on so much, like what's popular at the time, how you fit into that. I think when I was really young, like teens to early 20s, it was definitely like the age of American Pie, you know, a lot of like Girl Next Door, like Alicia Cuthbert, Tara Reid, like those types, and that was not me.
That was funny.
But I also just wasn't extreme enough in any other direction because people were like, there was so many boxes at the time. Like you were either like cute blonde girl next door, or you had to be like the super, super weird friend.
Yeah.
And like when you're somewhere like, I don't know, like weird but not weird enough, but also definitely not girl next door enough.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a weird time, and I couldn't quite find my place. And then later, like now I feel like I get a lot more. Yeah, just get a lot more. Like, I don't know. Like, I think we're in this really great time where we're basing it a lot less on purely people looking right and a lot more on like talent and you know, just making sure that we're showing like a lot of different voices and people from different backgrounds. And I think that's really nice. It just makes it more interesting. It's a lot less like boring nowadays in the casting world.
The same five people.
Exactly.
With the same story.
And the same look overall. And
exactly.
Not that those weren't talented people, you know, but
it just time.
So I think, or maybe it's just the fact that now I've aged into mom category. I mean, I'm a dog mom. Dog mom.
That's so fun. I found that with auditions, whenever they're like, we were looking for someone like 35 to 40. No, it'll be like 40 to 50. And I'll be like, oh, I don't qualify. But then I see like it when it was cast, I was like, she's looking hella good for 40 to 50. What are you talking about? I'm like, that's 30 to 40 at best.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, totally. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how old they actually think I am.
Right?
Like you do realize I'm still in my 30s. just for a little longer.
Right? I know. And because like I don't have kids, I'm like, what do you mean I could have children in this script?
I shot during COVID. My partner, Paul, and I shot a commercial together because they needed bubble people.
Nice.
And so we were like, oh, exciting, we landed one together. But then they had a picture of our hypothetical child on set. And I looked at this, I'm like, dude, this kid's like in late high school.
Oh my God.
Like, what were we, like, teenage parents when we had this? Like,
I guess so. Like, write it into the backstory.
I don't know. Like, and this was a few years ago too, so we were younger. And I'm just like, this doesn't compute. Like, Paul, how old do you think we are? They think we're in our 40s.
That's hilarious because Paul definitely doesn't look old at all.
No, and especially if he shaves his like scruff off, he's like baby faced. He looks younger than me.
You don't look old either, by the way. But he looks like a child.
He
with
can.
his bare face of like, oh my God, he looks so young.
Yeah,
what?
I know. I prefer the scruff, although lately he had to have a mustache for something, and I never thought I'd say this, but I was totally
liking the mustache.
He's gonna hear this and be like, I can't believe you talked about that. Like, oh, but I did. And did like the stash. I don't know, maybe I had a Tom Selleck thing as a child I wasn't aware of.
Didn't everyone? Didn't we all? I love that.
For the young people these days, Tom Selleck was an actor in the 90s known for having a very respectable mustache.
I love that. That's hilarious. So your own projects you started just during COVID or before that?
So before, so the first sort of like own project of mine that I really, really did after like taking a break, and that wasn't like a theater project or something from my 20s. I'd taken a break from acting. I was doing my day job, working on a magazine, and I missed doing something more creative like that. And I took a 4-month sabbatical from work, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do in this 4-month time period? I didn't want to travel. It wasn't really the mood I was in. Like, I want to make something. So I wrote a few scripts, and 3 short scripts, and reconnected with a friend who I had met doing voiceover. He's a sound engineer, not the one I dated. And he was also feeling a bit like creatively stifled with his job, and he wanted to direct something.
Oh, nice.
So it just came together nicely, and at that point I knew some people that were like really amazing, you know, with the camera, like young, up and coming DOPs, things like that. So ultimately, during that 4-month period, we got this film together. We shot it. That was 2018, I think, and then editing took a little longer because I went back to work. But throughout 2019, I finally got the film edited together. But here's the funny thing. So it's called Safe House. We finally got it done and wrapped in January 2020.
Okay,
so right before the panini. And this film, which I wrote in 2018, filmed then, and it was about a couple quarantining during a global pandemic in a cottage.
You manifested COVID, thank you.
Yeah, I basically manifested COVID. And
That's nuts.
It was nuts, and and it's like the relationship breaking down from being quarantined together and being too isolated. And that was what the story was. It's like a 12-minute short, and we literally like finished it in January 2020. And my director Quayson calls me, and he's like, "Do you see what's going on in the news?"
Oh
like,
my god.
Yeah, I am. What? And he's like, "Well, the movie." I'm like, "Oh my god, yeah." Oh no.
So now you gotta write a movie about world peace.
Seriously.
Like, and everyone was fine and happy and healthy.
I swear to God, I've like kind of may have done it again a second time because I've been writing again, I started this like before COVID. I was like writing this novel on and off for the last few years, and it's about AI, but it was before AI was like, a thing, and it was about like AI, like this android and this human in this post-apocalyptic android world, and like, but the human is a musician, and it questions like artistic abilities within AI. Like that's kind of the central theme about AI in the arts. And then suddenly,
and now there's a strike.
and now it's actually reality, and I'm just like,
that's hilarious.
I gotta stop making things.
That could be a movie. Is the movie about you making movies? And then they come true.
Like, seriously? I'm like, okay, you're right. Maybe I should write something positive or change and stop being so... Why is dystopia my favorite genre? Why?
You should just be like, and there was a character, Esther. She made it all the way, A-list celebrity.
Yeah, winning an Oscar.
Yeah, huge house.
20 dogs.
Yeah, 20 dogs. Yes. Oh my goodness, I love it. So you created Safe House, a short or feature?
It was short. It
was a short.
A 12-minute short. Yeah.
Oh, wicked! And how many days did it take you to film it?
We filmed it over a weekend, like 2 days, really.
Wow.
Yeah. We went to the location Friday night, got a bunch of beers.
Nice.
Ate a bunch of pizza or whatever it was, and then Saturday we had a long shoot day. Sunday we had like the whole day if we needed it, but by 6 p.m. we were done and we went for a swim.
That's wicked.
We were at a cottage.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
oh, that's so nice.
It was one of those things where like I wrote this script. All of the 3 scripts I wrote during that break were based on what can I shoot easily. You know, I use that as a parameter, and I think when people are sort of thinking like, oh, I want to make something like that's such a great way to start. What are your resources?
Yeah.
You know, who can you have involved? Where can you shoot it? It was actually at my partner's parents' place, but this was before we were dating. He was just my friend at the time. And I always thought it was such a cool location. I'm like, this place needs to have some sort of like film shot here one day. And I'm just like, why not mine?
Exactly.
Ask her favors.
I love that.
Yeah. So I think that's a really good way to go about it and keep it low budget too.
Yes.
Like, will you do this for a bottle of rum?
Right? How about for free?
Right? Yeah, basically. I mean, like, it was a mixed thing. Like, some people volunteered their time and some people were paid.
Yeah.
And the money mostly went to crew and editing. And getting some equipment. Because that was the one thing I'm like, I don't want to skimp on that. Like,
yeah, because those things are so like lighting, sound,
absolutely,
and camera. Like sound is huge.
Sound, I think you can get away with almost everything but sound.
Yeah, you can do natural lighting, Yeah. You could have a
shaky cam. Like look at Blair Witch.
Blair Witch
right?
Project. Yeah, Blair Witch changed the game with that one.
But you need good sound.
Yeah.
I would say out of all the things, that is probably the first place that I would prioritize the budget.
Yeah.
Is getting a good sound guy who knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Might cost a little more, but like everything else you spend would be kind of a waste otherwise.
Yeah. The sound is off and bad. It really does. It's like the first thing you notice if the sound is bad. If you're not noticing the sound,
then it's a good sound guy.
Then you have a great
They're like
sound
the unsung hero.
They really are. Yeah. They really are. Shout out to sound guys.
Yay, sound.
And girls. Sorry, sound guys and girls.
Yes.
So you're in an indie film called X-Files, Pals, and Pocket Dial.
Say that 10 times fast.
No, I can't. I will not.
X-Files, Pals, and Pocket Dials. X-Files, Pals, and Pocket Dials. X-Files, Pals, and Pocket Dials. Okay,
better than I. Better than I. Yeah, that's true. That
like
you can use that for, for all warm-ups now. Yeah. Be that title. So how did it come about, and what was it like filming?
So I did it's a film by Michael Zimanis, and he's been around in the Toronto scene for a while. He's done a lot of shorts before. I think this might be his first feature.
Okay.
I might be wrong, but I feel like it might be. And I did a short film with him several months ago, and my partner knows him, and he was in it too. And I don't know, it was just a good filming experience, and he'd been working on this feature script, and he was like, after a few months, like, hey guys, like, I got this script, like, what do you think?
Oh, nice.
Sure, I would love to get involved. And we helped him cast the lead in it, Emily Forsyth, because he was like, oh, I don't know, do you know anyone that would fit this? We need somebody that feels like you know, she's described in a scene as like a real life Disney princess. I'm like, I know just the woman for this. Plays Disney princesses on stage. Pretty sure she'll be great.
Yes, absolutely.
And then I was like the best friend character.
Nice.
And, so that was shot last May over a few weekends, but it was efficient. Like,
nice.
Got a lot done in very little time.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Again, one of those circumstances where he thought about what he had as a resource, as sets to use.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of wrote the script with that in mind. It was very, like, very much character-driven, dialogue-driven. The scenes were in, like, you know, a few apartments and a restaurant and a few outdoor shots. But, you know, he didn't do anything so crazy that
it would have needed, like, insane location person and permits out the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're, like, having to... Like, I think the restaurant, you know, he had, like, a good sort of rapport with them as well. So they were happy to, like, let him use the space on a day that they were shut anyways. And then I think, like, we just used them for catering that day, and it was really good. It was called Aviva on St. Clair, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So I highly recommend it. Shout out for that. Delicious food. Yeah.
It's so perfect. And you're doing theater right now. You jumped back into the musical theater world. Tell me how that happens.
So over the last couple of years, on and off, I have done touring with Duffel Bag Theater, which is a children's theater company.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like all my stories, I always have to go back like 5 steps before I get
That's okay. That's okay. We like to hear all the details.
Okay.
So that's perfect.
So Duffel Bag Theater, wonderful company. They tour around schools in mostly Canada, sometimes in the States and other places. And I did a couple of tours with them out west in Vancouver, Kelowna, and Alberta, Saskatoon. And through that tour, I was on there with my friend Nicole, who I actually had met on a previous indie feature film called Regicide, and we just hit it off. And she had been the one to like get me involved with this tour, and she's also a big theater geek. And we were, you know, going around doing these tours. We had some performances in actual theaters too, and I was just telling her, I'm like, man, I kind of miss the theater, like being on stage. Like I miss this black rubber flooring, the musty wings and curtains. Like, I don't know, I just miss it. Maybe I should, like, get back into it. I don't know, but I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go these days. Like, and I really want to do musicals again because I just feel like the bug is, like, biting me again. And she's like, well, you know, why don't you look into, and she gave me a few suggestions, including Scarborough Music Theater. And she's like, yeah, they're so nice there. You just go audition. Whatever happens, like, I'm sure it'll be a chill experience. They're not, like, snooty types. Because that was my big fear, is, like, going in and singing and messing up and being mortified and embarrassed. So they put a call out for auditions for Xanadu.
Nice.
Which, I don't know how much people know it these days, but it was this crazy musical film with Olivia Newton-John from like 1980 that was so bad it inspired the Razzies. But now it's got a cult following, and they made a musical out of it. I don't know how long ago now. It was like the earlier 2000s or like maybe 2010s, and it actually did quite well on Broadway. And it just translated well to the stage. So I'm like, okay, I'll apply. And like, I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I was going to go to that audition like 20 times. I'm like, okay, the audition's next week. Am I going to go? I don't know. I'll keep the audition for now. Like the day before, I'm like, am I going to go tomorrow? I don't know. The day of, like, it's in an hour. Am I going or not? And I just forced myself to do it anyway.
What was the doubt that made you not want to go to the audition?
I don't know. I was just like really scared of sounding awful. Like, I felt confident in doing a monologue, and my monologue went over really well, and everyone was like laughing and having a good time, and I felt like really good about that. There was a dance component too that I was less nervous about, because they said we're not necessarily looking for dancers, we just want to see a move. Yeah. And I'm really good at, if I don't know what I'm doing, I just, make something up on the spot. Whatever, like, just pull something out of my ass. But the singing was what I was like absolutely mortified about. And I'm like, I went in, I was sitting there, people going in before me, and I'm just like, oh, this is why I stopped doing this. But I forced myself in, I did the thing.
Nice, well, good for you. It's not easy.
I was constantly apologizing, like to the point that they're like, stop saying sorry. I was like, oh, sorry. I mean, But they were really, really, really nice. They really were. They were so nice that they let me in.
That's amazing. And do you have to roller skate in the play?
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. To be determined. You'll have to come to the show.
Right? Yeah. I guess by the time this comes out, we'll have a conclusion on this.
Yeah,
you can add.
We'll put it in our notes.
Yeah,
put a video below.
Yeah, she did roller skate and fell into the audience. Yeah. I'm only on skates in the very, very end, but I got a little nervous because the floor isn't as smooth as in the rehearsal hall.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And now I'm just like, is this worth like 30 seconds of me on skate?
True.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes, how much practice I can get in. We open next week, so.
Exciting.
It is. It's very exciting.
So have you roller skated before?
No.
This is your first time roller skating? Oh my gosh, brave.
Yeah.
I love it. I want to roller skate so bad.
It's really weird. Yeah, when you first put the skates on, you're like, literally like a cartoon, like your feet are just rolling in one spot and you're like trying not to fall. It's kind of terrifying.
Oh, man.
But we did a lesson at Roller Pony in Etobicoke, and it was good. It's also hilarious. Go there for people watching if you want to see something. You want to laugh at.
You want to laugh at
be a horrible person. You want to laugh at people
falling.
It's not even that. It's just like how weirded out people get when they first stand up on the skates, myself included. Because suddenly you're like, your feet roll, and you're like, oh god, and you're just like grabbing onto anything you can, and you're just like, what do I do? You feel like a baby giraffe, like no idea how your feet work. You're just like, okay, like. And then you put your skates on in one area, and for some reason, the area where you go for your actual lesson is like on the other side of the building.
Oh, of course.
So that you're just like trying to like.
I haven't learned this yet.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, basically, you're like literally holding on to anything or anyone to like roll yourself over to the carpeted area where they teach you.
That's hilarious.
But by the end of that one night there, like I was like doing circles around the track, no problem, but it's very different on a stage with less space.
Yes.
And a bumpier surface. So some you're just like, oh, I feel like I'm starting all over again.
Yeah, fair. So you guys are already moved into the rehearsals or to the space that you'll be performing in?
Yeah, we did it last Sunday.
Oh, excellent. So you're there for like 2 weeks then?
Yeah, which is very necessary.
That is so good. I love that. I love that. Feels like plenty of time. I'm more relaxed. I don't know. You.
Well, the thing is though, when you have a lot of like, set changes and running around and going up to the balcony and running back down and suddenly with music and you're like, I can't get up there in time to sing that part.
Yeah.
And then, you need that time
to make just like little adjustments as you go and figure out what you're doing at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
So it's not a lot of stuff.
Yeah. It feels like there's still a lot to do even though we open in like a week.
Yeah. But theater, it always gets pulled together last minute and then it's amazing.
It does.
I love that about theater.
Well, I'll let you know how it goes. You can have that in the show notes. It got pulled together.
She never did theater.
Yeah. And we're back to that.
But that won't be true because you just announced that you are going to be playing Tanya in Mamma Mia with Theater Unlimited.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's so exciting.
How'd you find the audition for that? Just online?
Yeah, actually, again, Emily Forsyth.
Excellent. We love Emily.
Just everywhere. No, she sent me the audition and she's like, oh, I think I'm doing this. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Sure. Yeah, I love Mamma Mia. But I was thinking like, okay, again, my imposter syndrome, like I would get my favorite role, right. Tanya's like my favorite character in it. I saw that in my 20s and I remember thinking like, man, when I'm old enough to play Tanya, that would be the best character
she's so
ever.
much fun.
So much fun. Yeah, and I love the comedic roles. But I just, again, tried. I thought, okay, throw my hat in. Why not? Mm-hmm. Again, had the whole, should I even go to this audition? I'm too scared. Went into the thing, left the first round in my head going like, oh, I think it's awful. That went horribly. Like, maybe I'm, and I just got lucky with Xanadu or whatever. But then they called me back and I'm like, shocker. Like, okay. And I'll call back for me. Like, I always find it so much easier. It's so much easier because at that point you're like a little validated. Yeah,
you're like, well, at least I'm a little wanted, if not fully wanted.
Yeah, you're like, okay, even if it wasn't perfect the first time, like they saw something. Exactly. Or maybe I didn't sound as bad as I thought I did.
Yeah, no, it's definitely very validating to get a call back. Yeah. 100%.
So I always go and have way more fun with those at that point, even if I'm a little nervous. But yeah, and then they're like, we want you to play Tanya. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's I guess it's my first time for a musical like playing a lead. Okay. Yeah, because I think with musicals it's always been very much like ensemble, side characters, which is great, and I love that too. Mm-hmm. But it's my first time being like, wow, I have like multiple songs to sing and like one that's like your main sort of number and like the other two characters, Donna and Rosie, and then also apparently get to flirt with a young man.
Always
coming into my full MILF power
stepping
here.
Into the MILF power.
Yeah, stepping into that. Yeah.
We have arrived.
I'm like, oh,
that's so exciting.
I mean, I guess I am a dog mom.
Oh, so when does that play? When are the shows for that? Is February?
No, in April.
April?
Starts in April. Yeah,
April.
We start rehearsing in January.
Oh, okay. So they did auditions real early.
Yeah, they did. Which is kind of nice because now it's like, okay, Xanadu's done in November, and then I actually will have like a couple months to just relax and breathe and do other things in life that I guess one has to do, like work. Like pay rent.
Money.
So and holidays and everything. It'll just be nice to come out of that and New Year. Let's go. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so exciting. So April for Mamma Mia.
Yes. I should double check the exact dates. I can't pull them up for my.
It's okay. We'll put them in a link below.
Now. Yes, come watch me. That's right. Tanya and Mamma Mia.
I love that. Oh, so your agent is Colin McMurray?
Yes.
With Colin McMurray and Associates.
Yeah.
How long have you been with Colin?
So I joined him, I believe it was in 2019. It was when I was editing Safe House together, and I was like, man, no, I like acting again. I want to go back to auditioning again. And I put together a reel, and I used some footage from that and anything else that I had, and reached out to a few agents, including him. And yeah, had a meeting with him, felt, this really good vibe. I'm like, this will be interesting. Let's try it. Sure. And he was willing to take a chance on me too. So
amazing.
So yeah, since 2019. And I had other agents in the past in Toronto before I moved to London. But that was like so long ago.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't even remember me. But yeah, it's been good. He gets lots of auditions for his roster. And he's very supportive, very communicative, so it's nice. I think he's the most communicative agent I've ever had, because sometimes, you send messages to them, whether it's a legit question about an audition or my career, like those sort of things, and he's always so quick to respond and have a chat, and yeah.
Was that something important for you for an agent to have that?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't like, and this was also maybe partially me in the past, maybe I was too scared to reach out for some reason too, but it was important now, being a little older, that I could have an agent that I could talk to, that I could actually like message and just be like, hey, like, I want to do more of this. What is the deal? What's the temperature like in the industry right now? Like, do I just have to, like, what can I do to move things forward the way I want?
Right.
And so he's very good at being, realistic too with his roster. He's just like, well, like currently there are strikes still on, the SAG-AFTRA strike right now. It's affecting a lot. I'm not union, but even so, like, things trickle around, and
yeah, for sure.
And and he's just, he's been very realistic with his roster about what that means for acting, and he's not saying like, oh, well, things are slow, so just hang tight. He's like, take this time to take classes, update your reels, like he's like reminding people, like, do the things to set yourself up so when we're back in business, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I like that.
Or in my case, go do musical theater.
Or try and get back to musical theater. Have you ever had an embarrassing moment or a mistake you made on set that when you're lying in bed at night, you're just like, oh yeah, that moment, let's forget that?
Oh my god. I'm sure there have been a lot. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something that I've blocked out because it was too mortifying, and I'm trying to bring it back out right now. Like, what was it? God, it must have been like something where, like your dress is accidentally hiked up into your tights during a quick change on stage, and you go out with your like underwear showing or something.
Yes. That is a fear of mine. I frequently have to like check all the time. Just like, I'm not tucked in anywhere unnecessarily, right?
I'm sure I have tripped. I'm sure I've forgotten lines.
Yeah, forgetting lines is another one. Do you have nightmares of like acting nightmares?
Oh, yes. When you're like, wait, I'm on set and I don't know what. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just reading the script now, and we're on stage in an hour.
Yeah. I'm always really paranoid in voiceover because when you have like the headphones on, you can hear anything and everything. And like sometimes I'm standing there and like my stomach will just be like, and I'm like, God, like please don't pick that up like in the middle of a take. And you hear like the stories of like actors thinking that they're no longer, like they're not mic'd or it's not going through or something, and they like let out a huge fart or whatever.
Exactly.
I don't know, maybe like I've just been so hyper aware now that like I just try not to like make any bodily sounds.
Yeah, I've had that like doing this podcast. I'm just like, my stomach just growled. Please say that like this is high enough up, but it did not pick it up.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm again, like I said, I probably do have some horrific stories I didn't.
That's okay. We don't need to dig up more trauma.
I got enough trauma.
There's enough trauma in the industry.
I dated European men. I got enough trauma.
That's right. You mentioned that you wanted to voice over Final Fantasy as a dream role. Do you have another dream role for acting that you wanted to do?
I always said that, like, one of my favorite things would be to get on a show that goes on for, like, 6-7 years and everyone loves it. Doesn't overstay its welcome, so maybe 5 years. And to have, like, a regular character on that has this, like, long arc that you can follow. And, like, yeah, I don't know what genre. I mean, honestly, I would do anything. Really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always thought that would be the coolest thing to do, just to have, like, to be on a series, like, even something comedic like Schitt's Creek, you know, like, that would have been
there. So cool. Oh
yeah, right?
Schitt's Creek.
It would have been so good. So good. But I would just as easily do something dark, or even, like, I don't know, I would have wanted to do Game of Thrones with how that ended. But before the last season, it was something. Before barbecue. Pew, pew, pew.
That's hilarious. Oh, maybe not Game of Thrones out. You could have killed off in, like, the 3rd season and been, or 4th, 5th, or how many seasons are there for Game of Thrones?
I don't.
Anyway,
how many that we
killed
actually
before the last one.
Yeah.
It would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, like, you know, once they figure out a better way to pay actors or residuals, something like a streaming show would be awesome.
Yes, that would be wicked. Yeah. What is the hardest thing for you about being an actor?
Keeping the thick skin on at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's like imposter syndrome is so real. Auditioning can be fun, but also grueling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you just have those moments where you're like, you really want something and you're up for something that you're excited about. And at this point, like, you get so desensitized that, like, 90% of your auditions, you actually kind of become like, whatever. Just, you know, whack it out, send it off. Like, you stop overthinking, which is good because ironically, that's when you start looking more.
Yeah.
But every now and then, like, a gem comes through and you're just like, oh, this is a good one. And if you get, you know, along in the process of it and you're like, oh, callbacks, or even, like, down to, like, to the end and then you're like, oh my God, now we really want this, and then it doesn't pan out, it's always kind of
it hurts, it stings. It definitely stings.
And then you know, like, okay, I made it this far, so that's good, but, like, there's some part of you that that just, like, why do I do this to myself? But, you know, the weird thing with that now, though, is I find, like, almost day jobs have gotten just as crazy and competitive, at least in my field of, you know, writing and editing and comms and content.
Yeah.
And so it's almost kind of the same now. Like, you know, you're auditioning for something, you're up against, like, 300 people. You're applying for a job, you're up against 300 people.
Yeah, for sure. And AI.
Of course. Let's not forget AI. Might as well just all give up and move back to the land and give up this
land and live off grid.
Yeah. We're probably a couple years away from that, but getting closer and closer
at a rapid rate.
You're right. Yeah. But yeah, I think auditioning is like doing like a job application several times a week, and you know, constantly, and it gets a little tiring. And I think keeping that spark alive, remembering like what you love about it, even when it gets into a bit of a state of slight monotony after a while, I think those can be challenges, because when you stop, like whenever I take a break, like I'm on vacation, for example, you know, I'm like, okay, let my agent know I'm booking out these days, and then you notice like that quiet period where you, because you booked out, you don't get auditions for a certain time period, and then suddenly I'm like, I miss it. Like, what? I can't wait till I have auditions again. And so, you know, just like keeping a thick skin and keeping the spark going during the down moments, because there are a ton of down moments. The best part is when you are actually doing a project, and like right now, like, you know, Xanadu's been exhausting, but in the best way.
Yeah.
You know, like I go home at night and I'm like so fulfilled, even though I'm tired and my throat hurts and whatever. And I'm like, I just, you know, like can't remember my harmonies and like trying to like get it all together. And it's exhausting, but like a really nice exhaustion that you love. Like when we did, I did another indie feature, Regicide, which was like 10 days of shooting in Kitchener in August in fields. It was hot. It was sticky. Yeah. It was like long from like, 7, 8 a.m. till it was dark. And it was summer, so it was dark pretty late.
Jeez,
and sometimes covered in fake blood from literally head to toe and sticky, gross fake blood. And like, it wasn't very comfortable sometimes, but I would not have traded it. Like I loved every second of that shoot, even the most sticky and uncomfortable moments. Also, driving home covered in fake blood was extra special. I literally was like my hair, my face, everything. I just had I rubbed my eyes so I could like see. And I'm like, I really hope I get pulled over by a cop right now because that'd be really funny.
Do you know why I pulled you over?
Yeah.
Don't worry.
It wasn't me.
It's not mine.
That's
a classic line. You okay? It's not mine.
And I just lick it. I mean, it was basically jam.
Corn syrup.
Corn syrup and food coloring, Regicide, by the way, I'll plug that too. You can watch
I
it
was
on
just
Tubi.
gonna say, and tell me more about Regicide.
It's a horror film, and it is available on Tubi.
Excellent.
And a few other things.
We will link that below so you can check it out. It's a short or feature?
That's a feature.
Excellent. Nice.
Yes.
And what year did you film that?
That was...
Like pre-COVID?
No, that was during the pandemic.
Oh.
It was 2021.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I think. Is that right? I think that's right.
That's in COVID years.
Was it pre-pandemic? Oh my god.
I can look it up right now.
You know what? My brain.
Let's look it up.
All I can think of is Xanadu. Xanadu. Like, I don't... It would be so embarrassing if it was like, no, because I was working at a job.
2022.
Okay. I was
2022.
That was more recently than I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe it was shot. Maybe they finished in 2022.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's
it
why
will be like the
2021
release date will be 2022.
Yeah. So I think I
right.
did get that right. 2021 is when we filmed it.
Nice.
It was fun. It was a lot of sticky blood. And I got to do my first on-screen fight.
Yay! Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Did you have did you get to get any say as to what moves you did, or did you have a stunt person coordinate you?
We had a fight coordinator, but of course it was all based on what we were comfortable with.
Nice.
I was fighting with main character Ashley Sametz and Michael Mazurkovic.
Yes, who's famously in every indie film.
He is. He got me into that one too, actually.
Oh yeah?
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Wicked.
Of course. And I'm pretty sure I accidentally, I was supposed to pretend to elbow him in the face, but I may have accidentally made contact.
That's hilarious.
And I think I spat on him too.
That just comes with acting.
Yeah. He's
on stage, on screen, everybody's spitting.
But he's the kind of actor who welcomes that level of intensity.
That's true. He does. Once he's in it, he's in it.
Yeah.
He commits. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and there was all sorts of things. There were bees nearby, and some people got stung. I think Michael got stung in the face.
Oh my gosh!
We hope this goes down by the next day.
Oh no!
I somehow did not get stung.
Thankfully, no one was allergic.
Yeah. Indie filmmaking. These things happen,
right? But it's so much fun. Indie films are so much fun.
I have a actual fear of dead birds, and we were filming in an old farmhouse.
Specifically dead birds? Alive birds are fine?
Oh yeah, they're fine.
Okay.
Just when they're dead that I actually freak out. And we went into we were filming in this farmhouse, and they're like, oh yeah, we have to clear out so much, and we're dead birds and stuff, and I'm excuse me? Did you get rid of all of them? And they're like, yeah. Like, because I actually have a phobia, like a legit phobia of dead birds. Like, if I see one, I will start freaking out. Like, I won't be able to be in that room. And they're like, oh, yeah, so just, you can go almost everywhere in the house. Just don't go through that door.
Oh,
and don't go in there and there. And I'm like, are you kidding?
Oh my gosh.
Like,
What freaks you out about them?
I don't know.
Just like, why are they dead?
Just something
like
about
they
like
could be full of disease.
No, I don't know, like the bones and the feathers, and there's just something. Like, I can see a dead squirrel and I just feel sad. But if I see a dead bird, I freak.
That's so interesting.
Also, dead fish.
It's the same bone thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
It's probably
It's
something
like,
about the fact that it's not
it's
fur.
just like-
It's just bone and gross. And like, if I'm like in the grocery store, I have to avoid the fish area.
Oh my goodness.
Sometimes I forget and I turn and I see their faces. I'm like, ah!
Don't look at me.
Yeah, I'm just like, nope, and like have to walk away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I'm so happy.
Those are my only phobias. Yeah. They're actually my only phobias. And as you probably know as a fellow dog mom,
Yes. Yes.
some of the worst things that happen to you in life is your dog showing up with a dead fish in their mouth.
Yeah.
Looking so proud.
Dead anything.
Yeah.
Right?
And we're like rolling in it and then smelling like it.
Yeah. Well, you bathed tonight.
Sometimes it's not even enough. It's another story. Yeah. Yeah.
We love our dogs.
We do. Oh, of course. Yeah, I love my dog.
So what do you...
Gonna have to live forever.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, and now you can never leave.
Yeah. Or I'm going with you.
Darker, but I like it.
Yeah.
So what do you think is getting in your way of getting to the next level? Whatever the next level looks like for you.
Wow. Now we are getting deep.
Oh yeah, we got there. We went there.
Okay. That's a very good question. I think ultimately it always comes, like in my head, I always come back to myself.
Mm.
You know, like, am I doing enough? And I don't know if that's fair or not, but am I, being proactive enough? Yes, I've, done some of my own projects, but I feel like I should be doing more. And
Always.
and yeah,
I don't even know if that ever goes away.
probably not.
Truly.
But then I see like friends of mine I've known who did, we were struggling, and then they finally just like, I have this friend who lives in LA. His name's Ian, and he, I think for a while he was like struggling there, trying to make it work. His roommate actually like got famous.
No way.
Yeah, Gina Rodriguez, Jane the Virgin.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because I had known him when they were still living together, and she hadn't had her like huge break yet. But yeah, so she kind of moved on to that next level in life, and he still didn't get his like big break. And you have the odd booking here and there, but like not a big break. And he got frustrated and decided to make his own web series. And he like just funded himself, like did the whole thing, like did a first episode, shot it really nicely. I remember watching part of it, or maybe the whole thing, and it was just like, wow, good job. And as soon as he said like, screw this industry, I'm just gonna do my own thing, I'm just gonna be an actor and write my own stuff for myself to play, then like he suddenly got called in to audition for a TV show. I think it was called Siren, but like a Legal Mermaid.
Yeah.
Like it went on for a year. Yeah. And he got cast as one of the one of the recurring or lead supporting characters, I believe.
Oh, amazing.
And it sort of like took his career up to that next level that we all want.
Mm.
And he was on that show though, like I don't know if it's still going or not, but yeah, he was on it from the beginning, as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
And playing that character, I'm like, good for you. And like, I see him on Insta every now and then, we message each other. He's like, he seems to be doing, really great. And I think I actually remember him posting about another movie that he's in that's like an actual like bigger film that's like coming out. I just can't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but yeah, like you see these things, you see these examples, and then you're like, am I just like, I made Safe House, but I didn't like share it that much. Like I think I was like scared to. Like I think my imposter syndrome, my self-doubt came in. I was like, yeah, people are just gonna think it's like bad or something, or laugh at me. Like, this is a theme that keeps coming up a lot. I'm noticing, like with auditioning for musicals and making movies. Yeah, what's wrong with me? Me, I'm the problem. It's me. Me, hi, I'm the problem. It's me. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, yes, you can hope for a big break and to get that audition, but I think it does kind of come down to you just growing and becoming more confident as a performer, and you can do that for yourself. No one's gonna do that for you.
Yeah. And it helps with the waiting game too, creating your own stuff and doing the damn thing.
Yeah, and I think putting it out there, that's the part that I've struggled with, is to put things out there that are more my own, rather than just I filmed somebody else's thing and here I'm sharing it and yay, that's good, but there's something else about when you've made the thing and you're presenting it.
It's terrifying. I did that with starting stand-up comedy, because I was acting, it's so much easier. If you didn't like my performance, it could have been the writing, could have been the director, could have been anything else but me. And then with the stand-up comedy, I wrote it, I'm saying it. So if you don't like it, you don't like me. It's just so much more terrifying.
Vulnerable.
Yeah.
How are you finding that now?
Better with practice. I find but the more you do it, and it's nice. I run an open mic every Wednesday, and it's nice seeing new people try stuff just fearlessly, or trying stuff still scared, and then watching them figure it out. And then it's also nice to see the pro comics and the people that I see as the next level come try stuff and it bomb. And they're okay, yeah, whatever. And then they go on to the next thing. And it's it's so nice, because on Instagram and TikTok and all that, you see comics just killing it all the time because they show their best stuff on there, right? Yes. And so I'm oh my gosh, everybody's amazing and hilarious and so quick with their crowd work and stuff. Yeah. And so it's nice to see comedy live, to be oh, you know what, things go wrong, things happen, funnier things happen by mistake, so I like it. I'm finding it better, at least, watching other people and with practice, for sure.
Yeah, it's so hard to be vulnerable. That's something that, I don't know, I keep thinking of that word, vulnerability.
Yeah, it is terrifying. Yeah. And it's definitely something that you have to work at, because we're just so conditioned to not be vulnerable at all. Be strong, do it yourself, and good luck to you. And when in reality, I don't think it's supposed to be like that at all. Be vulnerable, have a good circle of people around you, and rise together.
I was talking to my friend about this, because I'd put together a test episode of a podcast a while back and refused to put it out there, and but I sent it to a friend because it came up and she wanted to hear it, and she's oh, that's so great, why are you hiding this? I'm because people are gonna laugh at me. And it came back to that again, and she was well, listen, if anyone actually wanted to hate listen to this, just to, be you whatever, you suck or whatever at my expense or something, she's those people are just pathetic. They actually have nothing better to do with their time than to waste their precious time on this earth, hate listening to something. She's it's not really going to happen. People that will actually listen will listen because it's resonating with them in a positive way. Yeah. And anyone else will just not care. Yeah. And I'm that's what we need to remember.
Yeah, and then giving less power to the people who I don't even know. Yeah.
The very, very tiny percentage of people that would waste their time on something just for the sake of being negative. Yeah. Meh. And it's so easy to say that, but it's still so hard to actually
absolutely
do the thing and put it out there.
Yeah, for sure. So on that note, can people watch Safe House? Do you have somewhere that we can watch Safe House?
You know what? It is on Vimeo. It's one of those if you have the link, you can watch it kind of things. Okay. I've just never formally released it, and I really should.
Did you do festivals with it?
I did. I did do festivals, and we did get into a few. We got into Toronto Shorts International Film Festival. Nice. There was another one in Montreal. The thing that I realized that I thought of after, that may have been my mistake, is I just submitted the film as is. I should have added a card or something to the beginning, like a note being like, this film was completed before the pandemic. Because I realized as I was like putting out, I'm like, I think this just looks like a pandemic film. Now that, you know, without the context of like, this was before. And that completely changes.
That's
like,
true. That's true.
So I kind of want to add that to it and then maybe release it, you know, anyway for whoever wants to see it. But like, I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of, that was a really good project as like a training wheels of, you know, producing my own short, and I would like to just move on and do something else.
Do it with the next one.
Yeah, take the things I learned and apply it to something, and hopefully this time not let imposter syndrome.
We will make you release it as soon as you're like, oh, I'm doing this project. We'll have you back on the podcast and be like, and here's where you can watch it.
Yes, do it. Watch the thing.
That's it.
I would love to do something else again though. Maybe after Xanadu is done, I can use that as a as an excuse. Like, what am I going to do with all this free time? Yeah,
free time over the holidays.
Yeah,
true. Well, we will stay tuned 100%. So we like to finish this podcast with a fast 5 questions.
Oh, okay.
No pressure. So let us begin. Your favorite beverage?
Wine.
Red or white?
Red.
Yeah, I knew you were going to be a red girl. What's your pet peeve?
People saying Budapest. Or Budapest, not saying Budapest. Yeah. And mouth noises that don't come from my dog.
Oh, mouth noises? What kind of mouth noises?
Like if someone's chewing and they're like,
oh, yeah.
Or like
open mouth chewers.
Yeah, or even just like, I don't know, just anything. Like, I hate ASMR.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a big fan of it either.
No. Tapping with nails, no. ASMR is, like, not my thing.
You heard it here from the voiceover pros. No ASMR. Favorite guilty pleasure show or movie?
Oh, I should be able to answer this faster.
No, that's
I'm so
okay.
fast with everything else. Guilty pleasure? I don't know. Is 90s movies, are those
it can be a guilty pleasure.
Yes, depends. Like a good cheesy rom-com every now and then.
Absolutely a guilty pleasure. 100%. A quote you live by or try to live by?
I guess I don't consciously think of this all the time, but it would probably be a good one to keep in mind more consciously. Is just treat people the way you want to be treated. Just be a good person, be nice. Don't be an asshole,
especially on set.
Yeah.
And a piece of advice for your younger self when you started your acting career.
Don't be so scared to be vulnerable. I'm still learning. But
baby steps. First thing is making your own projects and releasing it to the people that you know, and to festivals is a big deal as well.
Yeah.
So baby steps.
Yeah, no one cares if you fail. Just do it anyway.
That's
no one
true.
really cares.
No one cares or remembers.
Yeah. Only you do.
Yeah.
And then you can't sleep at night because of it, but
exactly.
No one else cared.
But who needs sleep?
Who needs sleep? I've not been sleeping much lately. No, because Xanadu literally keeps me up. I'm just thinking, I'm trying to go to sleep. Xanadu. Literally the songs are keeping me awake.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That is the curse of musical theater.
Yeah, don't do musicals. It's a terrible idea. You'll never sleep.
And in comes Mamma Mia.
I've already had a song stuck in my head too.
Yeah.
Honey. Shut up.
That will be all of the beginning of 2024.
Yeah. I guess there are worse things to have in your head than ABBA.
Absolutely.
Or for some people that might be.
Yeah. Depends on who you are.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for being my guest on my podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
It was so fun.
So lovely talking to you. Thank you for listening. If you made it all the way to the end of the podcast, I hope you did. And for more interviews with Canadian talent, visit my channel, Creative Full Time. See you next episode.